Hey guys, Michael here. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you've already familiar with my channel and been a subscriber, well, welcome back. I have something different for you guys. I actually picked up my very first 3D printer and I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just gonna film the process of me learning how to use a 3D printer and whatnot. And I wanted to share the experience with you all so that if you're interested in getting to 3D printing, you can just try to follow along and see, kind of learn along with me. So I picked up this Bambu Labs A1 Mini. I do have a couple of friends that are familiar with Bambu Labs, and they swear by Bambu Labs being one of the better, I guess, user-friendly 3D printers. And Bambu Labs had a Black Friday sale, actually, I think in October when they first started doing it. So I picked up the A1 Mini, not knowing what I'm going to get into. I picked the Mini because it's cheaper, and so I got this for around $200. I think regular is $300. It had $100 off for the Black Friday sale, and so I got it for $200. And you also got a couple of free gifts. I'll show you what I got with the free gifts. And then I picked up a spool of PLA basic filament. I think it's what it's called. PLA filament, which is sort of the beginner level filament, the cheapest filament. And I went with a gray color because gray seemed to be just generic. I was either going to go with gray or black, and I think black was sold out whenever I bought this A1 Mini. So I'm going to unbox this, show you what it looks like, put it together here on camera so you can see exactly what it's like and what I'm going through to learn how to use a 3D printer. Now, why did I get a 3D printer? I didn't get it to make money at all. I got it more for a curiosity, more of a hobby approach. I have asked a friend of mine to print maybe 3 or 4 things already, and just simple little things around the house to fix stuff, like a little gear to fix a pencil sharpener. I designed in SketchUp a small little thing to work with my engraver, my conveyor for the engraver, and I'll share with you guys later what that looks like. I just thought of something in my head, drew it in SketchUp, and said, "Hey, can you print this?" And he printed it, and it worked out great. My dad needs something for his little saw. We were able to download a copy or download the file online and print it out. It's just amazing being able to print things out of nothing and make something that can be functional to either repair something or to improve something. And that's mainly why I wanted to get into 3D printing. So without further ado, let's unbox this Bambu Labs A1 Mini. I'm super excited about this. A little bit of nerves because not knowing what I'm getting myself into. Yeah, I'm going to take the camera so you can zoom in and see exactly what the A1 Mini looks like. And hopefully I don't say A1 Mini too many times. I apologize now if I say it over and over again. All right, looks like a bunch of cardboard wrapped in plastic. Let's tear into this thing. Oops. There's Let me jump right into the instructions here. All right, we have a spool holder accessory box, the purge wiper, a PTFE tube, some sample filament, So this is all the filament you get. So it's a good thing I ordered some filament to go with it. Build plate, which is already installed on here, and the quick start guide, which is, I think, what I'm holding in my hand here. Remove the 4 screws to unlock it. Okay, so let me just follow the instructions here and see what all I have to do to get this thing where it can move, because right now it has screws in there locking it down for shipping purposes. And inside this kit, it comes with a couple of Allen wrenches, some grease, looks like some screws, some additional hardware you're going to need. Let's turn this around. And there's 4 screws right here using the included Allen wrench. Okay, I've got the 4 screws removed. Next thing to do is tighten the 3 screws circled in green to lock the heat bed. So let's see if I can show you. There's 2 screws here and 1 screw right there to lock that. Next thing to do is install this purge wiper to the bottom of this arm, and the screws are labeled for exactly what you need. So this is the purge wiper, so I need to use this screw here in this bag here. Okay, now that that's complete, I need to install the spool holder, which is this right here, using 2 screws, and there's a bag label for spool holder here. Okay, the first thing I need to do is put the plate on there. Okay, with the plate installed, then I can just slide this onto the plate. So we are ready to plug it in. According to the instructions, that's going to be my next step, is to turn it on, and it says we're going to connect to the network. So we need to connect to the Wi-Fi network so that I can use the app and connect to it. And printer binding. So I'm not sure what printer binding is, but I need to do that next step. And then once we do that, we're going to install this filament and this little tube in here that the filament's going to feed through. And then finally, we're going to make our first print. And I think that's all I'm going to share with you guys so far in this video. So let's move on to the next step. All right, I've switched over to my GoPro. Let's turn the A1 Mini on, see what it needs to do for the initialization process. Okay, I'm not sure how well you can see this, but it says unleash your creativity. Wait for it to hit start. Select your language, region, connect to Wi-Fi. Select my Wi-Fi. All right, let me enter my password real quick. That is the smallest keyboard I've ever seen. So let me see if I can do this. Network connected. All right. Next thing is use the Bambu Handy app to scan and log in. So if I can show you what that process looks like. Bambu Handy. Next thing to do is add your 3D printer. Bambu Lab A1 Mini. There it is. Hit next. Okay, pick some preferred categories. Hit get started. And now that I'm signed in, let's go to devices. Bind printer. I'm going to bind printer. And access to my camera. And it has a QR code on the screen. It bound the printer to the user. Click on the checkbox and confirm and bind. Okay, now what? Follow the instructions on the screen to complete the installation calibration. Okay, so this is going to take a little bit. So there's a 5-minute period, a 7-minute period, and a 15-minute period. All right, I want to zoom out just in case. Let's hit start on this calibration and see what happens. All right, it's doing its thing and it's showing you the progress right here on the screen. And this is going to take some time, so I'm going to pause this video and we'll come back when it's finished. Okay, just finished, and it says calibration complete. And it's just sitting here. So I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do next. Okay, you're all set. So I just clicked the screen and it says you're all set. Go. All right, it's time to lubricate the Y-axis guide rails, and the lubricating oil is included in the accessory box. So looking inside the box, we have 2 different lubricants. One is a lubricating oil, and the other one is a lubricating grease. I see a QR code on the screen. Let me try that with my phone, see what happens. Go into the website. Here's how you lubricate it. Okay, I'm just going to follow this YouTube instruction and I will lubricate this and be right back.
Please use some lubricant oil from the accessory box and avoid lubricant grease.
I turned it off, I lubricated it as instructed. When I turned it back on, it resumed back where it was. So now that I'm finished lubricating that Y-axis, I'm gonna hit done. And now I'm at the little boat. Now before I started hitting print, I noticed there is a firmware update available on this A1 Mini, so I'm going to go ahead and hit update and get it to the most up-to-date version. So follow on the next screen, I'm going to hit click update. Alright, firmware is up to date. And now we're at the boat print job, which is the next thing I need to do on the instruction manual. The boat is named Benchy because it's a benchmarking tool for your 3D printer. It has a lot of features, arches, curves, just different things you want to use to be able to print and test the ability of your printer. So that's kind of the staple when people print. They usually print that boat first. But before I print that, I need to come over here and install the filament guide along with the filament that came with the A1 Mini. The tube is just literally a straw that allows you to feed the filament from the spool holder to the print head, and it tells you to plug it into this side on the back and plug it to any of the 4 holes on this top part here. So I'm just gonna pick one. So I'm just gonna push it in here and come over here and pick a spot where I want it to go. Now this thing is kind of has a weird bend to it, so I'm gonna pull it out and see if I can match the bend of this other hose first before I actually insert it in there. That way they kind of stay lined up with each other. And then lastly, I'm going to put the filament and feed the filament into the tube. I think up until it stops. And since this is not on a spool, I'm just going to hang it on here like this, where if I was using the one with the spool, of course I put the spool on the spool holder. I'm going to feed this all the way through and kind of spin this in the back. And this is, I'm not sure if you can see that this is actually going up in the straw, and I'm going to feed it until it stops. Okay, that stopped. And the rest of this, I'm just gonna leave it loose right here. With this A1 Mini, there's an SD card already inserted on the right-hand side. And inside that SD card, there's some predefined models already loaded. So I can click this boat and you can see, you can see these multiple print jobs you can actually print from. So it's 3 pages worth. I want to print the first one, which is the Benchy, the benchmark tool for the boat. So this thing says turn on bed leveling, which is recommended. So let me turn that on. Okay, so it was already turned on. turn on time lapse for time lapse video recording. Sure, I'm going to do that. And I don't know what to do next besides hit the print button. It says it's going to take 20 minutes and 11 G's of print spool. I guess that's done by weight, so 11 grams. So let me hit print. Let me see what this thing says before I go any further. So this thing tells me device is idle, nothing is in print. Tells me about the print bed. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do next, so I'm just going to hit print and see what happens. So I started printing and nothing happened. And kind of find out, I don't think the filament was loaded or actually pushed in there enough. And so I found the name of this filament, which is Bambu PLA Basic. And in this menu, I found where it says load filament. And in there, I can say, you know, what type of filament I'm putting in there. So I picked Bamboo, I put PLA Basic, what color. I put all that in there, and it started going through this process of loading the filament, including heating the print head, and it's telling me now that I need to push the filament further into it. It didn't say anything about that in here of how to do that process. So now that I'm at this point, I'm gonna follow the on-screen steps and see what I can do. It says I need to push the filament more into it now that it's preheated, so I'm going to push it up and say retry. Action required. Please observe the nozzle. If the filament has been extruded, tap done. And I don't see any filament coming out of the nozzle of the print heads here. So I'm going to try it again. See if I can. I don't think you can see this very well in here. I'm going to push, let's see, retry. Push the new filament in the extruder. And I don't see anything coming out here. So I'm going to just say retry. I don't see anything again. Retry. Oh, okay, so I don't know if you can see that in the video, but there is some filament coming down. So now that that is coming out, I can come over here and press done on the screen. Push new filament. Purge old filament. Okay, so it is purging it out like toothpaste right now. I don't know how much it's going to purge. Broke it loose, and there's the extra filament right there on the table. So this is what I was talking about when I was saying I have to load it. So I've done that. Hit back. And now I think I'm ready to print again. So I'm going to go back through this process and hit the button, find my print job, and make sure my bed level is turned on, make sure my time lapse is turned on, so if I want to see the video or not, which I do because it's my first print, and I'm going to hit print. So one thing I noticed is I'm doing this on a small kitchen table. This table is shaking quite a bit, and it shakes more than I expected it to, or more than I anticipated it to do that. I'm going to go with it and see what happens on this print job to see how bad is it when it finishes. So I'm going to hit print. It's going to do its bed level thing again, and yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, I finished my very first print on the A1 Mini. It's still on the board here. It says to wait until this cools before taking it off. I've seen people just kind of snap it off of there. It's cool to the touch now. It's still a little warm, but I can keep my fingers on it, so I think it's good enough. Let me break it off and see what happens here. Well, that's scary. Ah, cool. Nice and clean. So this is Benchy. This is the benchmark tugboat that everybody prints on their 3D printer at first, just to test the capabilities and whatnot of it. And I'm really happy with the way this came out, and so far the performance of the A1 Mini. So this is a Mini. As you can see, it's a small, lightweight machine. I did notice I had some issues on the table that I had this on. It was actually shaking quite a bit. And this didn't slide on the table. However, the whole table was shaking. So I'll need to probably think about where do I want to put this at in a more permanent solution. I don't want to put it in the shop because it's too dusty out there, too humid. So I need to put it inside. Maybe I'll put it next to my desk or something. But again, this is the Mini, and you're limited to the size of the plate as far as how big of something you can do, plus the height of this. And they have some bigger ones, of course, but for what I want to do with it, I think this is going to suit me just fine. Again, 200 bucks on sale. Really, it was kind of hard to pass up. Do I have any regrets to get the $100 more for a little bit bigger? Not yet, not yet, but we'll see. So yeah, this is the A1 Mini. That's all I wanted to share with you today for right now. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to add some more videos related to this, and of course, laser engraving and anything else I expand in my shop. I'll include that in my channel. But yeah, I'll keep going with this 3D printer and showing you guys, what I'm doing with it, and what I'm learning on it, so that you can follow along and maybe consider getting your own printer, or just maybe you can watch what I'm doing and point out, hey, you're doing this wrong. Here's a better way to do that. So I'm definitely open to constructive criticism in the comments down below. That's all I want to share with you guys. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you next time.